I think being a human is kind of weird. Actually, it's really, really weird. I don't really understand the human experience. I think it's kind of ridiculous. A lot of the things we do, a lot of the things about how we work, it's all frankly very, very ridiculous. But it's fun to think about. I've been fascinated with human behavior for as long as I can remember, and I have been immersed with books, with reading, with psychology and rhetoric and anything really where I can study human behavior in groups and in society and at the individual level. Now, what I want to talk about in this video is actually something even more interesting, and I think it's intuition, and I think the Force. Have you seen the Star Wars movies? Because in the Star Wars movies, there is something called the Force, and it's built on midichlorians, which are cells in your body that somehow have the ability to pick up on this force and to connect you to the universe. And I think with the force, there are some funny things going on here because I think it can be hard for us non-force users to understand how this force affects people on a psychological level. This force guides, moves, and pushes you in certain directions, and the force is looking to find balance. So this is an entity, this is a living being, a representative of all living beings really. And what I can best describe this as is the collective unconscious. Yes, the collective unconscious of all plants, all animals, all living things. And they manifest themselves in people, in Jedis and in Siths. And they push us into roles. They kind of try to guide us into roles and try to get us to fulfill virtues or some kind of heroic acts or some kind of evil acts that will somehow guide humanity and the whole universe towards evolution. This is kind of the goal of intuition here. Intuition's or the force goal is to evolve society, to drive society forward. And the Sith serve the role of the destroyers, while the Jedi serve the role of the preservers. So, what are you really? Are you a Sith or are you a Jedi? And I wanna somehow here tie this together with intuition. Why am I tying these two together to begin with? Well, Jung has always stated that intuition is an unconscious process. Now, we don't really in psychology today use the word unconscious. It's slowly been driven out of psychology while it's been tossed out of the window together with like psychoanalysis that still is very somewhat popular but not as much anymore. And the problem is that we haven't found it yet. We haven't found any such thing as the unconscious. We haven't found an unconscious region in the brain or like any sign of it. So does it exist? It's a mystery. Now, a smart thing here is to say instead that the intuition is about things that aren't salient. So imagine you're looking at something, and when you look at it, it becomes salient, it becomes conscious to you, and everything around what you're looking at is out of focus, it's blurred. But this is still a part of the information you take in, the background is still influencing you. So maybe intuition is about the things that aren't conscious to you that you take in anyway. So what can we say then? Well, intuition is about reading between the lines. It's about the picking up the hidden things in a room. It's about spotting the things nobody else is spotting. And it's about focusing on the things that are less salient and actually giving them interest and room in your conscious. Now, when it comes to the collective unconscious, that is so metaphysical. It requires you to kind of believe in some degree of spirituality. But when you think about it, it doesn't have to be that strange. I think even when we talk about sensing, I think even sensing has some kind of primal level, some kind of primal symbols, symbols that have been with us for all times. Symbols such as like heroes and villains, and symbols such as children and parents, and like these roles that we have been grown up with that are so rooted in our culture that they become almost real, like they are biologically rooted in us. And maybe they are. That wouldn't be so controversial, I think. And then what is intuition in all of this? Well, I don't think intuition is about these primal symbols, actually. I think intuitives can find them very interesting, um, but our approach to them are different. I think our approach to these things are a lot more introspective. Yes, I think intuition can be introspective in a different way for extroverts, of course, but I think it can be like the whole idea is for intuitives to pick and deconstruct these things into ideas. So when we look at these figures and the things that sensors think are real and that the sensors think are so deeply rooted and impossible to get away from, I think intuitives look at them with creativity and with flexibility, with the ability to decide not to pursue them, with the ability to say, no, I don't want to participate in this. I don't want to be a mother. I don't care whatever biological drives or clocks are in me. I don't feel that. I don't have that urge. I want to explore the world. I think intuitives can definitely do that. Anyone can, of course, do that if they really want to. But I think the top-down network, which is associated with intuition very strongly, can give you the ability to avoid this. Now, so the force is supposed to be something luminous, something omnipresent, something that we cannot see, that we cannot get, something with a life on its own. And I want to actually give some credit to this idea, because I think ideas, as they are called in today's society as memes, have control over us. Yes, ideas have an incentive force driven by what motivates us, driven by like our deepest desires. I think intuition and ideas can actually take control over us. Like when we think about something, we kind of feel pulled to do it, even no matter how ridiculous it is. We just want to do it. Like we feel possessed slightly by this idea, and I think anyone can, who is especially an intuitive, can feel possessed by this idea, because ideas are like wands in Harry Potter. They pick us, we do not pick them. I have never ever consciously decided that, oh, I want to have that idea. It's been the idea that has popped into my head. And usually, because I've thought a lot about this, I've come to realize that, well, most of the ideas that I pick up are given to me by other people. They are saying stuff. They don't realize that they are sharing ideas. They don't realize that they are ideas, but they are giving me information. And when I piece it together, they give me an idea. They just don't pick the threads together. I pick the threads together, so I get the idea. And they start saying, whoa, that's an amazing idea. Whoa, you're so smart. But really, they were the ones that said it. And if I hadn't been in their presence, I wouldn't have the idea to begin with. I'm rambling here. I know, sorry. I wanted to kind of blow your mind or something. But I'm gonna just close this up somehow. I'm gonna say, be aware of the force, be aware of intuition, be aware of your deepest instincts, your deepest drives, be aware of ideas, pay attention to your life and to the deeper things. If you are an intuitive, this is the fun, smart thing to do. I think this is the goal to happiness for an intuitive. But be careful of ideas and how possessive and controlling they can be. Realize that, well, just because you had an idea doesn't mean you have to follow through on it. Actually, you don't. You can actually decide to wait for the next idea. Ideas are like lines that you can jump onto. And there are millions of lines. So you make the decision. What idea do you want? What do you want to go on? Just let it happen. Just become more aware of these things and become a fully fledged superhero intuitive. Thank you for watching.